Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, one of the rulers of the underworld, or specifically the ruler of Manga Hell. And today we'll be back to the newest chapter of My Academia, chapter 338, the story of how we all became heroes, part 1. Hmm, that's actually it's actually a nice reference to the beginning of the story about how this is the story of how I became the greatest hero, with Deku now saying how we all became the greatest heroes. Or maybe it's just like just heroes in this case, but we'll see. After a bit weird, the entire class just became all glorious heroes. But yeah. Anyways, we start the first page with kind of like a more of a, the whole symbolic picture with Aoyama and Izuku showing how different paths they take, even though they are at start from similar situations, like the two former Crocus boys, two different fates. I mean, to be fair, their situations were so different that it does actually make sense why they end up differently. So, anyways, then we cut to the current time period, as we have Tsukuchi be like, "Wait, Midora-kun, Sansa, cover up Aoyama's mouth for now." As then we see the cat quirk user gagging Aoyama. As then we have Tsukuchi being like, "As you can see, he's currently restrained, so he can't take your hand." He was being metaphoric, Tsukuchi. He wasn't being literal. So Tsurushi is saying, no matter the circumstances, the fact that he was helping All For One commit crimes remains unchanged. As Izuku's a bit tearful still, and she's like, or more calm, and Tsurushi is like, what's more, from what we've seen, we can assume that there's no and not then and assume that there's not any danger, but who is to say that he isn't rigged somehow like Nina Gaunt? Until we conduct our first examination in the central hospital, it isn't wise to allow him to talk any further. As we get a flashback of Lena God, as we see Ayama still crying. So yeah, something that I should correct is that apparently what the last chapter meant when they were talking about him not being rigged was actually meant more as a because he hasn't blown up yet. It implies that he may not actually be capable of may not actually have the same thing as they not gone, not much of the time gap. So it was actually they were able to annihilate and take a diagnosis and see, oh yeah, he's not blown up. It's actually something unrelated. Although I'm so curious on how exactly can all four make it so they don't blow up, or how exactly they can make them to blow up. Which so yeah, to clarify. So it's a bit wise for them to like cover his mouth, although I feel like there should be like more than a wording or something. I don't know really. So then we get like a more angry expression from Midoriya, but he's still like crying. And then Choichi looks on the floor. He's like, "Mr. and Mrs. Oyama, why did you not report the all for one about our raid in Camino?" Which is, I feel like one of the things that people are gonna be questioning because there have been at least like two different instances, namely right after at the end of the forest training camp as well as the raid, that you would think you should have reported that to All For One just for safety's sake, even if you don't want to, even if he doesn't call for it. So, anyways, then we have the parents responding, or the father most likely, be like, we were unable to send any messages because we could only report to him when he demanded it. One-way traffic, huh? I guess I guess he was reasonable at least. Like he's not gonna be blaming them, killing them over not telling him information immediately. So then had to be like, I see. So he was covering his back in case you were captured. In that case, that battle was, I would say, it was more so just so he can pretend like you get some kind of way of escaping from information. So yeah, then we have more angry and impressed Moki Midori like Tsukaguchi. Location of locate as Midori's like to say, locating all for one is near impossible. That's what everyone is saying now, right? I have Kimura as he remembers the words as well, like Bogo did last chapter. It's like we would like it still be in the back foot. That's why we are throwing so many people at this problem. Which, to be fair, are different words, but the same thing. When it comes to the same conclusion, like, I see. We have to at least try to influence their actions. And so it was like, all right. I'm not sure if the next panel is like implying Izuku knew for that from the beginning, or if he just now got the idea as well. Maybe he's untouched at all. As in, Minato also finds out like that's right. And then Momo's like the only one that can change our current situation is. I guess Mimo wasn't actually aware of that. Isn't she supposed to be like the smartest of the class or something? So then we have Aoyama thinking to himself, why is everyone with the ability to as they have to be like with the ability to deceive all for one, Aoyama-san, he might be the only one as like still willing to trust a scumbag villain like me. Dude, again, you were forced to do it. Like, I feel like many people agree would probably do the same thing. Like, like, let's not pretend here the people wouldn't do the same thing. Like, even Izuku and Bungo, I feel like if all for one threatened their mothers and fathers, they would definitely do it. At least until they get like an opening. Or the very least, maybe they will try more actively to send more messages about the information. But more or less, I feel like everyone would be do the same thing you did, Oyama. You don't have to feel you don't have to feel guilt for that. So as they represent me, be like, wait up, hold on a second, guys. You're getting ahead of yourselves. A crime is a crime, and as much as I don't want to say it, you lot have been the greatest victims thus far. But even so, you're still willing to believe in him? Again, he didn't want it. He like why are they acting like Aoyama wanted this to happen? I mean Aoyama's like everything about Aoyama, his parents, and everything about their words should definitely say we didn't want this. Like if we knew this would happen, we wouldn't have done it. So I don't really understand why they are so up in arms. This isn't something like someone from the gay Gatko was on their side and then trying to backstab. So I don't get why they're so against it. I know people are complaining about it being like too much. Let bygones be bygones, which is actually something that Ida says right now. Bygones be bygones, but logically speaking, it makes sense why the class wouldn't be that resentful. So everything would be like we have to let bygones be bygones as alright. Then we have a picture of Ojiro and Karakure, as we have the. So, I'm guessing I'll be like, we didn't realize that was truly going on in his heart, and we were unable to reach out to him when he needed us the most. We have to show us some kind of responsibility. That's why I mean, this is supposed to be Ida. That's why now, while our classmates cry and wallowing in despair, we must lend a helping hand as friends, which is true. Like I mean, Izuku says I should have noticed something was odd from the beginning. Like no one else was having the same issues as Aoyama had with his quirk. It should have been obviously. Yes, I shouldn't just assume that he knows the secret. I should assume like how would he be able to figure it out when some other ones haven't. So here we have a picture of Izuku as it is like we want him to take that hand. There have a picture of Jiro and Mina, as he says, because that is the only way for him and us to be equals once again. As we see like all the class being basically all for it. Then we have like the kind of comedy moment with Babu. He's like, I went through hell thanks to this idiot. I'm just wanna blow him up right now with 5,000 impacts. So yeah, that is a very funny joke and totally in line with Baku's character. So anyway, then we have Sarah be like, come on, don't be so harsh. Then we have Christian be like, I agree, Ayama, you thought it would be impossible to beat All For One. You had no other option but to obey him. But now it's different. Midoriya gave you your parents a chance to break free and end it all. You remember when we stopped Midoriya together? Do you really think any of us would blame someone for being workless? Do you really think we would hate someone for having to hold back their tears and hide their pain in secret? Which is true, as he also as Kirishima also starts to cry a bit. So yeah, that's basically how he was saying that. Although funny enough, when it comes to stopping Izuku, Aoyama, and Hagako did absolutely nothing. So I'm not exactly sure why That would really matter here. Plus, I don't really compare Alma and Zuko in this situation, but I get what they're supposed to go with. And anyways, then we have like you're saying, Ayama, we can still get through this together. As Ayama is still crying, and like I think he's also supposed to be nogging his head. Yes. So yes. Anyways, then we have Takeuchi being like, I hate to interrupt everyone, so emotional, but we still need to hold the Ayama family in custody to help with the investigation. They're not saying not to. They're just saying that they could use them and they could, help and all. So, anyways, then we have George to be like, their story still needs to be verified properly. I understand how you feel, you all must feel right now, but we must maintain our composure. I mean, to be fair, it's not like everyone's acting all that over the top. Maybe it's a translations issue. I honestly am just gonna be blaming a lot of things on translations issues now. So, anyways, then we have from the laptop that President Mark's holding, as the voice comes from and saying Midoriya. The picture of Midoriya, as we have, I feel like we all know who is saying here. Saying this is here is like, do you have some kind of plan in mind? As Zuko's like, well, not really. As they have, as we have the character be like, Tich, I would have thought so too. Tsukauchi. I take full responsibility for not seeing this happen right under my nose. However, I feel the same as these guys do. As the Zedmang's a bit surprised saying, Aizawa? And see a picture of Azar, which was something we should have all expected the voice to be. I don't think anyone was surprised by this. I mean, it always makes sense. Their hormone teacher would be here in this moment. As well as being like, Oyama, I have no intention to expel you from UA. Seriously? Well, Oyama has a really big standard for this. As then we hear the long picture of Azama all tearful and crying even more. As there have Aizawa being like, as the teacher in charge of Class A, I've devised a plan. Takeuchi, could you please cover up Ayama and his family's ears? I guess he's gonna be explaining the plan to them, so just in case if Ofwan can hear it, he will not be in danger of, you know, having, knowing the plan. So as he tells this to the entirety of Class 1A, which, considering how Gakure is still a suspect by a lot of people, I would question that's my idea. He tells that to Nezu, who's also not a top suspect. He tells it to All who we know is not going to have who's not a traitor. He tells it to Ectoplasm and Pazenmark, random pick to have the Ectoplasm here. As Pazenmark puts his glasses up in the air, because he's so him come up with this dangerous plan. Then we have Chiruchi thinking that if the plan is good, they'll get a picture of Aoyama and his parents crying. And then we have in a classroom, as some of them are like, although we still need more conclusive evidence, and this course of action does seem extremely practical. So I guess the plan, whatever it is something that Inezo agrees. As then we have, I'm not, Omai or something like, it depends on him though, which I'm guessing is referring to Aoyama here. Or Midoriya, either one really works. They have to be like, but it is worthwhile to even attempt it, Sansa. So it is pretty logical. I guess the plan is something that they should try. So anyways, then we have to tell Sansa we will continue the rest of this at HQ as we have Sansa leading Ayama and also the police officer leading them to the HQ. And then we have somebody like, all of you make sure you don't say a word of this to anyone else, please. Which is true. I mean, finding out there's been like a family of traders who've been working for All for One, as well as, the fact they were actually in the hero course, it does make sense why they would not want that to leak. I mean, have you seen how people reacted when Izuku just came there? Like, the literal request was like, let him be here so he can clean up, get rested, and go back to fight the villains. I mean, if those people found out this, they would probably be trying to attack and do stuff to to the Astro Class 1A's parents for no real reason. Hopefully this doesn't get leaked. Look at you, Nezu and Harakore, you two better not be traitors. So anyways, here Izuku be like, Ayama-kun. Then we have Ayama looking back at them, and he looks forward and still looks down. So yeah. Anyways, then we have class 1A's dormitory. As we see all the students, they are sitting as they are. I'm not sure what they are doing. I think they might be cleaning up Oyama's room or something. Maybe they're just throwing trash. Maybe they just want to continue like what they were doing beforehand. So yeah, anyways, Kiyoshima, Sato, and Soji are on the couch as Kiroshima's like, well, it's time to gear up then, huh? Wait, and then we get a glass of water, and we have Ida coming to Izuku's like, I've got to go to do something about my hero costume. That ended up tattered and in pieces after all, which is referencing the battle between all with Izuku. As then we have Izuku being like, me too. Which is true. Like those two probably have like the most destroyed costumes right now. So then we have all the characters like walking around. I'm guessing they're doing laundry. That's actually funny. They get a bit of a weird panel where Mina being glowing a bit more. I'm guessing maybe this is being more emotional or something. As we have Goku be like, we will definitely defeat them. As then we see all this class being yes, and they all look sadistic in this panel. Like, my God, this class wants the off one's hats right now. Like, even Koda and Mineta, who are usually more comedic, have like more you're fucking dad. Hell, Koda looks monstrous in this panel. For God's sakes. And it's kind of evil how some of them look very like Soji also looks very evil. I mean, even the Shoto has very dark expression. I like how I wonder if Kaminari is saying something. He's like the owner has an open mouth, and yeah, this is like very serious and badass. Like my god, this is one of those really awesome panels. So also, we don't see in this panel Izuku, but we see him in the next panel where he and Ida are approaching to upgrade the suits, and Izuku is like very serious, like expression. Like I imagine when this is gonna be anime, it's gonna be like that bad. I'm the bad top tier badass here. So as he goes to the Velvet Shroud, as Midoriya is like, in order to prepare for the next battle and for whatever may come in the future, I have to get my equipment fixed up. As he gets ready, open the door. There's a giant explosion, like boom, as as he does like this deja vu, which you're gonna all get as we get a voice saying, oh my, it's been a while, hasn't it, Midoriya-kun?" As we see Mina Hatsue on top of Midoriya again, with her boobs right on his mouth. As we end the chapter with a comment, being like, being like, "Ugh," as we see Izuku either being suffocated or trying to be, no, gonna be comedy. Her boobs on my face. Oh my god, like I know this is supposed to be a very dark, very emotional chapter, but I just gotta appreciate the little comedy. I mean, the last couple of chapters have been a bit more darker, but I love the little addition of comedy, especially this type. Oh. End of chapter. Hatsume makes her appearance. How will Deku react? He'll suffocate because she has her boobs on his face, or specifically on his mouth. And he is, woman, you never change. It's funny how she's not reacted to it at all. So, anyways, end of chapter. No comment if there's a break next week, which is usually there is, but maybe again, no English translation next week, but whatever. So yeah, this chapter was again a very emotional chapter going through it. A lot of stuff, plus setting up a trap for All For One. How it will work, we'll see. Especially with the possible another trade on the loose. Again, we will see what's gonna happen. The little comedy, maybe you would say it's a bit of a tone change. Like it's kind of like ruins the tone a bit. But in my opinion, it does make sense. I mean, we've been having a bunch of chapters going very dark, very emotional things. So it makes sense that we try to get more like, alright, time to calm down a bit. I mean, this isn't some super despair manga or something. But yeah, also the panel with all the Class 1A looking like your dad all for one is really fucking badass. Like, this is honestly the best battle. Like, Ultimate is good, but this is clearly like the best. But yeah. So anyways, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this chapter? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think the tone at the end was a bit wrong? Anything you want, just in the comments below. And also, with that said, I hope you like this video. I hope you leave a like, subscribe to this channel for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.